How did 10%?
Why?
This, who goes to Disney in a hurry? They were all white people.
Hey, don't.
Oh.
Edit that one out, because Jesus.
And then Nickelodeon, like there's a rabbit hole about how like the sign before him was feet, but then the guy who was running it back in the day kept on asking the girls to take pictures of their feet.
Oh, he was a creep. He was a nasty.
Then they switched to the icon, but then the icon of Nickelodeon that looks like a splat that's orange is actually the exact same shape as the island that Jeffrey. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird. I had to get off.
Yeah. He said he went down the rabbit hole.
I went down the wrong hole.
Welcome back to Chocolate Espresso Podcast. I'm your host, Thomas Newak, ready for Float Your Fancy. I ain't too picky. We got the regulars back in the office again.
What's up? What's up?
Hey.
Y'all, I got questions for y'all. I'm reading out this little article here. Disney World refused to let workers go home early as Hurricane Milton approached. From the headlines alone.
Hold up.
Let's just talk about
That's
that.
illegal, right? They can sue, right?
No. Nope. What you got?
They can't sue?
No.
Wait, they really can't?
No. They can complain. Yeah, from the headline alone. Here we are. No one pointed a little pew pew at your head and said, "Go into work today." No one did that. You could have just stayed at. Listen, I could have texted you, "Come into work," and you could have said,
"No,
it's a hurricane."
Get somebody else to do it.
I would have said, "Then you fired." Okay, bye. The building's not even gonna be here when we get back.
Hold on a second.
So what does it matter?
It's like we're gonna have demolition crew.
Now with that, right? If they fired you for not coming in during a hurricane, could you sue for that?
I think you could.
Isn't
for
that
human rights.
wrongful?
I think that's a human
termination.
I think that's a human rights claim. So yeah,
wrongful termination. Yeah.
Yep. Because you were actually in fear for your life.
Yeah.
Technically, I'm gonna have to bust that bubble a little bit.
Is it not?
It depends. If you're an emergency responder and or somebody who is a part of crucial infrastructure, there's a chance that they might say no.
Yeah. You work at Disney. Are you an emergency
There's
responder?
boilers at Disney, though.
Who?
Boilers. Things that can explode from pressure and heat. There is crucial infrastructure that needs to be.
I operate one of the rides. I'm not.
I'm just saying.
Not one of them.
But those are.
She said, "I'm not one of them."
I'm at the ticket counter. You can find somebody else to give tickets.
She's like, all there is over here is popcorn and
listen,
Linda's and plushies. Leave me alone.
Listen, Linda's.
I work at the pretzel stand. Like, what do you want from me?
Listen, Linda's. They want the joy to be spread to the. What does it say here? 30% capacity. They're on that board.
No.
Let me double check.
I mean, here's the thing, right?
First of all, who is at Disney?
Thank you. During a hurricane. Why you at Disney during a hurricane?
These people really hit them with the, I spent $3,000 to get here.
So you spent all that money during a hurricane to be at Disney while your house is sitting there flowing away.
You can ask for your refund. Like, you could ask for your refund. Like, no, I wanted to come.
It's called
there was a hurricane.
rainy day cotton tickets for a reason.
Like,
I don't understand.
Like, that's
Disney,
wild.
was it really that important that you had to be there during the hurricane? Because, okay, you can't say that you didn't know that it was going to be a hurricane. You can't say that.
Okay.
You can't say that you didn't know. It wasn't just like everywhere. A little sprinkle, a little rainstorm.
It was everywhere.
I'm going to roll it back. It was a 10% capacity, but still.
Why?
10%?
Why?
They were at 10% before they decided to close the park.
Why did they have 10 people?
How did they get 10%?
I'm not saying 10% of 10 people. I'm just saying, why did 10 people walk through the door that day?
How did 10%?
Why?
This, who goes to Disney in a hurry? They were all white people.
Hey, don't.
Oh.
Edit that one out, because Jesus.
Wow.
Anyway.
I'm sorry. That's what came to mind after deep consideration. Or just imagine keeping your kids there. You hold them ransom. You're like, we spent $3,000.
I just want y'all to know, 10% capacity at Walt Disney Magic Kingdom is 100,000 guests.
I was about to say, it's probably like, it's probably, because you got to think about how many people. That's cap. It's probably not 100,000.
No, they can hold more than 100,000. So 10% is probably closer towards like
1,000.
10,000 people.
10,000.
10,000.
That's still a large number.
Still a lot
That's
of
still a lot of
people. At
people.
10% right before a hurricane. I just want y'all to know.
So does that equate to like, hey, the customer willing to risk their life to pay me money? So you better risk your life to get it. Like, I pay you to open that cash register and put them dollar bills in there. Sir, what if the cash register's not here?
Oh God! Even if they say, because like they're also saying that like 50,000 is typically the visitors per day. That's still 5,000 people. That's still on the lower end. That's still 5,000 people 10. That decided
that's still
that they
like
were gonna,
the size of 2 high schools put together.
That's a lot of people. I said hurricane. What is that?
Well, my high school was like almost 2,000 kids in it.
But you know what though? Hold on. It's Florida. So like people in Florida don't care for hurricanes. They don't.
You
trust
know what?
them,
Yeah,
so.
People in Florida
said this,
like
and I believe that.
Like breathing.
No, like for real. Like they do say people in Florida just like if you live in Florida, you just don't care about your life anyway. Because every year,
they got alligators as pets down there.
They got alligators. They got hurricanes almost like biannually, and then if it's not that, it's a flood or a tsunami or something's hitting them. They keep losing land to water. Like it's not looking good, and they still go there.
I don't know why they want to. All right, let me read this article though, because we got to the headlines. That's it. Walt Disney Company refused to. Oh, by the way, this is by the New York Post.
Great.
Walt Disney Company refused to allow employees at the theme park in Orlando, Florida, to leave home early leading up to the hurricane's arrival. 4 people at work in various parks at Disney were told Business Insider that their boss refused to cancel work even as weather conditions deteriorated that Wednesday. The workers told the publication that they were expected to remain. That's 2 separate words. Excited and expected.
That's 2 different moods.
They were expected to remain on hand after parks had to shut down in order to button up the hatches. A move that led employees feeling unsafe, according to Business Insider.
You got the wrong one.
You know what? You got the wrong one. You know what? You know what?
Hey,
I know exactly. Whenever a manager speaks like that to button down head, you know exactly where they were. They were at home.
Yeah, where are you at?
Yes.
Where are you at? Button down the hatches.
Not even at home because it's a hurricane. They were in another state.
They were already en route somewhere else.
They left a couple of days before. They sent a nice little email. Make sure you button down the hatches. Mm-hmm. Make sure you locked up.
There was remote working.
Samantha,
don't forget the active security system. Thank you.
Right.
The code is 44345. Thank you.
Bruh. The employees also said that poor communication from higher ups left them feeling like they were flying blind. Disney cast members complained that they were made to work on Wednesday morning, even though rain came down pouring and the parks were empty. So you had 10% capacity and it's empty? Well, no crap, Sherlock. I just want to know.
But you gotta think about how many people go there. I mean, how many people go there a day? You said 50,000, but
it says up to 50, so right. On average. But
that's per park. You got to think about it. There's different locations for the parks too. So there
was just literal areas of the theme park that were just ghost towns.
Ghost towns.
Imagine being Mickey Mouse costume walking around in that storm. Trying to make the magic happen.
Man's gone. So I feel like in that situation, like, is there even a way to actually do that? Like, because a hurricane is such a severe thing, you would need a bunker. Like, typically for a hurricane, like, you need a bunker to go to. You can't just go downstairs. Like, would they build that? Would they build that?
In a bunker system?
Mm-hmm. They should have.
Why would I want to be somewhere where you could flood? Now I'm in a bunker that's flooded. I'm gonna drown. In a Mickey Mouse costume. I got time for that.
I think that it's not a bunker you're talking about for a hurricane. That's for tornadoes.
Tornadoes, okay.
Yes. I'm like, wait a minute. He got a point there. Why would you be underground?
No.
This is crazy. So 4 other parks were closed around 1 p.m. They should have been closed the whole time.
They should have been
And I quote
closed.
from one of the workers, they should have shut the whole thing down that day. Why you have us come in? We could have shut this down the night before. They didn't say that extra part, but they really could have shut the whole parks down the night before and would have been done with it.
I would have called in sick. I would have been
the
like,
one
hey.
Floridian that's actually from another state said that.
Yes.
They said a handful of tourists who showed up at Disney World on Wednesday managed to get a few hours of fun, even though the employees who greeted them were concerned about the storm. Listen, I would have greeted you at the door and would have shut the door and said, we closed.
They're from another country.
Bruh.
You had to be.
They're from another. No. They said tourists, but you got to think about it. If you're from Florida, you're not a tourist.
You would have just said guest or something.
And number two,
customers.
You knew that there was a storm coming.
Yeah.
You knew what that was. I'll be honest with you.
I don't know many people who fly into a hurricane.
Most of the people that they had there were probably not from Florida.
Right.
Mm-hmm. At least you said 50,000.
It says on average they can get up to 50,000.
At least 40,000 of them wasn't from Florida. Was tourists from another country.
Literally.
This is even crazier, but the park was almost empty today. Surrounding restaurants, shops, and gas stations who remained open, sometimes over the obligations of their employees. If the hurricanes come, it'd be one thing and they said, "Oh, a storm's coming." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." You know,
right?
like,
A thunderstorm.
No, it could be a really bad storm.
Rain.
That's cool. If you tell me a hurricane's coming,
I'm not staying.
and it's pretty obvious that it's right there.
I'm not gonna understand.
I'm going home.
I'm not coming
staying,
into work, and if you fire me, I'm applying for unemployment and bereavement and stress.
Unemployment and bereavement in the same sentence.
It's crazy. Like why? But that brings back up what we said in the beginning of this, right? No one's holding a little pew pew to your temple and telling you to go to work.
Right.
Some of these people really, I mean, they really believe in their heart of hearts. If I go home, and then genuinely, maybe if you go home, call out sick, don't show up, maybe they is gonna fire you and you need the job. But I'll be honest with you, ain't no job worth your life like that.
Right.
Yeah,
It ain't no magic kingdom worth your life.
And we need a better system. Like that should be illegal.
We're joking about it though, but they are a little strict at Disney though.
Right.
Honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Like it's been mentally affecting. Like the people there.
Most
like,
people when they say Disney camp, because it's not training, it's Disney camp. You got to actually go to Disney camp to work at Disney. It's like that. So I mean, they're a little stricter. So
So Disney camp is brainwashing.
Yeah.
That's all I hear.
You have to be the princess for the little princess.
But you know what though? There are certain jobs where if you work there, you ain't, as bad as it sounds, there ain't no way you completely 100% all right in the head. Like you're not the average Joe.
No. If you're what's the one that does not the grave watcher? Because I feel like you could be normal with that, but the one who does like the makeup and stuff for the body. And
a mortician?
Yeah, mortician. I've never met a straight flying mortician. I've not met a straight flying mortician.
Some people just got their quirks. Like I get it. I'm not trying to say like
and I'm not
they're
saying
just
they're bad.
crazy.
Every time I've met them, I've just never met one that I'm just like, we should be cool.
Yeah, it's like finding you know, you go to like Starbucks or Caribou, like you might meet normal baristas and whatever. Sure, you go to like the coffee shop. Like the coffee shop where you sit down and it's not a chain one. These people got their quirks to them.
Yes.
You know, they got the hipster, the dude with the mustache that curls up like Cyberpunk. Yep. You know, the person with the purple hair that's really like they're never just normal people. And there's not, listen, live your life. Like, I don't care. I'm just saying, like, I'm pointing it out, and I feel like maybe Disney World might be full of people like that, where they're all like definitely unique individuals.
There are some people that are like their whole dream has been to their way of being the real princess has been becoming the Disney princess, like doing whatever it takes to be in that position. They kind of scare me too.
Well, you're a princess in a storm, so I would have called out sick that day. Listen, this is crazy. You know what though? But again, so apparently I don't know who like the group of people went to the politicians and made a complaint. I don't know if the news anchors went to the politicians and made a complaint like, hey, why are these people working in this park this late?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I would hope that there is laws that are going to be in place. Like, hey, if you are aware that there is something coming, maybe they need to classify it as a state of emergency,
like a severe weather
storm. And immediately the day before, shut things down. But they were in a state of
emergency, though.
They should have called the state of emergency the day before and say anything that's not crucial to up and like again the boilers, stuff like that. Like shut that down the day before we know it's going to touch sectors, and then leave. There's no reason to keep people around if they know this is going to happen.
Putting them into danger. But then also, what happens when someone gets harmed and then it's like the whole family's like, cool, we're suing you for everything you got because my cousin didn't have to be there.
Sure, you might get lucky and win almost $1 million, and then Uncle Sam's going to take their $600,000. So you might be left with a little some, and then you got don't forget about the lawyer. Right. So maybe you might get fortunate enough in the unfortunate circumstance of a wrongful death, but I'm gonna be honest with you, not many people are gonna succeed like that.
Right.
So they're willing to take the chance and they know it.
Right.
And if anything, it's like the aviation industry. How much is a body worth to them?
None. No.
They could come on now.
No,
right?
that's
Same thing
not
with
true.
Transportation.
That's not true.
It's true.
No, it's not. So now, okay, I think the better equivalence would be like train conductors. How much is the body worth to the train station? The train company. That's different. Aviation's a little different. It matters. There's too many things in place. All of their rules are written in blood. So all of those things, all of the rules that they have are written because something happened.
Sure.
So no, it's.
But why don't they give everybody a parachute? What
do you mean a parachute?
Why don't we all have parachutes if the plane's going down?
Why do you need a parachute?
Because the plane
gonna go down for you.
Get us down to 1,600 feet and let us jump out. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand what your question is.
I just said it's cheaper to give you a little flotation device.
You don't need no help.
It's up there.
I'm just saying.
It's not a. It's already up there.
And
what goes up must come down. I don't. Your mama never taught you that. I don't know what you're asking. What's the question?
I don't know.
I would like a parachute when I'm on a plane. I would like a parachute when I'm on the plane. And whenever we lose control, like the doors immediately eject.
No. Oh my gosh, that's not real.
I know it's not real. I'm just saying I personally would love me a nice oxygen mask. Those things, and I'm just like.
Anyway,
let me try to save my own life.
You trying to be the new James Bond? Jump out of planes or whatnot.
So let me ask y'all this then, right? Because towards the end of the article, it mentions. Let me go back to the bottom. Make sure I get this right. So they mentioned possibly. It says here earlier this week. I guess the government estimated that the hurricane cost Disney between $150 million and $200 million in losses due to the impact of the theme park. Now, again, is that in profits or is that in damage to infrastructure?
Right.
That's the only other thing.
Because they'd write it up, it'd be both. Like they'd write it up to both. Because it's considered damages if you lose out, right?
Right. So, I guess the question here being, would you go to a theme park right after some sort of natural disaster?
Right after? Right after.
Like the week after the natural.
Nah, I'm not touching any roller coaster. You better double grease them wheels. You better. Wow. They need, because it's too exposed. They have to do an inspection. It's just too. There's too much.
Where's the thrill? Where's your thrill?
The thrill was those people that went there anyway.
On the day of. On the day of was the thrill.
They got all the thrill they need. They got a little extra shit.
I'm pretty sure they have rules and regulations where they have to do an inspection of the park before they can reopen.
There's also like state regulations and business regulations that force you to.
Yeah.
Especially with Disney being the one of the
and it's an entertainment
main attractions for Florida. So
okay, but
they're held accountable.
But hear me out. If you've lost $200 million on the top end of this, you don't think your employees aren't gonna?
They'll make it back.
Yeah, they'll make it back. But you really think they're gonna try that hard to make sure it's approved to go? You're not gonna try to rush that from the top down. Yeah, get these approvals done by the end of tonight.
Mm-hmm. They would definitely try that.
Think about. If they had you come in like the day of the storm, what makes you think they ain't gonna try to rush you?
You know what? It's not the. It's more than likely not going to be the people who work there that have to do the inspection. They'll probably have to have a company come in and do the inspection.
Nah, that costs too much. Have it in house.
Are you serious? It costs too much?
Why would I pay somebody on a third party?
You wouldn't, but you also don't own Disney.
I got stock. Thank you very much. I own Disney too.
No.
You ain't see that Robin Hood commercial where the guy was sitting in on the board meeting when he was in his backyard and he was like, "Hey, John here." I own some shares too. I just want to say good job.
You own shares. You don't own Disney.
Whatever. I don't know. This is interesting though. I personally, I'll be real with you. I think anyone that shows into work during the middle of a hurricane or the beginning of one, I'm gonna call it out. I'm sick.
I'm not going into work. Mm-hmm. And please give me that case because I'm sure gonna win it. It wasn't even that bad. Cool. So we're gonna put on the last 2 news specials regarding this hurricane.
It wasn't even that bad. I lost my house. What are you talking about?
That's
we lost
some people
a section of the city. Like it's gone.
Some people said by the time they got to their vehicles, gas stations were closed, roads were already packed, the storm was already going crazy, and they were so afraid. Like they couldn't even go home. The
highways were packed. This one lady I saw on TikTok said that she decided to shelter in place because if she would have left, it would have taken her what's supposed to typically take her 2 hours or an hour and some change to get to where she needed to go. It would have took her 15 hours.
No.
But here's the thing though. So if you were told
their highways were a parking lot. So
if you were told the storm is coming almost a week in advance, like, hey, something seems to be cooking. Like a week after the last one already hit, might I add.
Yeah.
Okay, so even if it's like 2 days in advance, I would have just left 2 days prior. I'm not sticking until the last day to be like, oh, this storm's actually gonna know. I'm gonna tell my boss every time there's a warning for a storm that big,
at that immediate time, I'm taking my 2 days PTO off. And I'm
right gone. I'm going remote.
Man, I mean, there was one lady who was recording it, and some of the people that were preparing for the hurricane them shelves were clean. Those with that, them shelves were clean.
They said, it's bad when it's a hurricane and all of the Dasani water is still in the stores. The whole shelf is empty, but you see everything. Yeah, you see all the cases of Dasani.
That's be crazy. So illegal.
They said Coca-Cola should be embarrassed of themselves, and they really should.
No, for real. Like,
ew, Dasani.
Oh, I put salt in my water to make them thirsty, so they drink and buy more water.
No, that's not salt. It's a chemical.
It's a chemical?
Yeah.
Ooh, that makes it worse.
Ooh.
All right.
This one getting a little too long, but we gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. We appreciate y'all. We out. Peace.
Peace.